Thanks for coming to our Retire Early Lifestyle channel. If we didn't create these informational videos for you about travel and living abroad, I'd be making chicken videos. I'm not kidding. But anyway, let's get right to the information you're waiting for. First, let's take a look at the new Global Retirement Index for 2026. Here are the best countries in the world to live, according to the Retire Abroad media. I will be referencing some of these countries today, so you'll want to know what the countries are. The top 10 retirement destinations countries for 2026 are Greece, Panama, Costa Rica, Portugal, Mexico, Italy, France, Spain, Thailand, and Malaysia. Do you notice anything different about this list than the 2025 best country list? Well, here's the 2025 list. Now notice what's different? Nothing's different, guys and gals. All the Rams did was a bit of a switcheroo. There's nothing new to see here. It's all the same old overrated countries. We've been tricked into believing these are new countries to go travel to, buy property, and integrate into for 2026. Here's what is different besides the prices in these countries being much higher than just 5 years ago. They moved Greece up to the top as number one. They moved Panama down a notch and switched out Spain and Portugal and put the two Southeast Asian countries at the bottom. Voila! You now have a new global index for 2026. Wasn't that easy? The big takeaway in what we're noticing is how they moved Greece up to the top and moved Portugal down several notches and Spain to the bottom as number 8. After what has been going on in Spain and Portugal over the years with the anti-American, anti-tourist, and anti-Brit sentiment, we're surprised they even dared to list Spain and Portugal in their global index again. The people are sick and tired of all the tourists that are coming into Spain and Portugal, and you can't really blame them, right? It's so bad in those countries that they're implementing silly regulations and silly tourist taxes for just showing up, hoping this will curb tourism. It's like when you wear a favorite shirt in the whole world over and over and over again, and you keep wearing it, washing it, and drying it, and wearing it, and it just gets more worn out and tattered, and pretty soon, you have to give it up. It's just because it's been through the ringer. Literally, that's Spain and Portugal. They've both been through the ringer. Both countries are very beautiful countries, and we're not dissing the country or the people. We're dissing the manipulation of what is done to some of these countries over the years for the interests that wear the vests. The pump and dump of the golden visa scheme. So in a nutshell, for our new viewers that don't know about the golden visa schemes, here is how the golden visa works. It's a pump and dump scheme, and you're the target. After they stabilized the Spain economy of the government with their golden visa scheme and spiked up property prices by 100%, literally displacing thousands of working class Spaniards, creating an anti-tourist disgust and causing a housing crisis, then they put an end to property investment golden visa. Only then, only after that happened. Did the rich get richer in Spain? Well, that depends on where you're at in the scheme. But in just 5 years, here's the property rental prices and how much they've gone up in 5 years in Spain. We don't think that just because a person has $260,000 to invest in a property makes them rich or even richer. But as a group, when thousands and thousands of people invest in property at $260,000 or $500,000 in areas where most people are earning less than $1,000 per month, yeah, it actually ruins the areas that are getting bought up. It ruins the culture, the landscape, the rental prices, the property prices. It just ruins it for the people who make up that country. Spain and Portugal both have a housing crisis. You can see that here. Residents of Portugal were asked what they believe to be the country's biggest issue, and 43.4% said the housing crisis is the main problem because they're finding it increasingly difficult to feel secure in their current living situations. And then Spain has said millions across Europe are being priced out of housing, with Spain at the heart of the crisis. Now, that's a lot of people. So that's what the locals are saying. But what about the foreigners that live in these countries? How many foreigners are left holding the bag after they buy property? How many foreigners were priced out of the cities and had to move to a different area? It happens. People are fleeing Thailand. So after these vested interests make a mess in one country, they move on to the next country and start all over again. Guess where everyone's going now to mess it up? They're going to Greece, and they've been going to Greece the minute Spain ended their golden visa for property investment in early 2025. When Spain ended its golden visa program, many investors began looking to Greece and Portugal as alternatives for residency through investments. But get this, we have perfecto timing here, folks. It just so happens that the Retire Abroad media has named Greece as the #1 best retirement country to live and retire and move to for 2026. After they pump and dumped Spain and Portugal, now they're pumping Greece. Now, does anyone find that a bit strange? Now, obviously, there are people connected to the vested interest circles, and they know that Greece would be ranked as the best country in the 2026 Global Index. And so what do? They go to Greece and buy up a bunch of properties, and now they're going to make a killing. Or not. It all depends on how they time the market. Some investors get locked in for years because their property just doesn't move. What do you think is going to happen to Greece's property market now? I'm sure you can guess. Do you think that only the Spaniards and the Portuguese get agitated when the rent and property prices get so high they can't afford to live in their own cities? Well, they're saying right now, Greece's property prices have already risen significantly due to the Golden Visa program. For any of you who haven't figured it out yet, the Golden Visa is for boosting the government's coffers and making the wealthy wealthier, or somewhat wealthier, because we gotta tell ya, sometimes the investors is left holding the bag if the timing is not just right. Or if the buyer is not a good business-minded person, they'll get defrauded. This happened to numerous Brits who bought property in Spain from a con artist. And of course, there are other risks like buying property and then the government all of a sudden decides they're going to put 100% tax on property owned by foreigners. Who's going to buy your property now? We'll tell you who. A dummy, meaning no one. But anyway, the little guy, you know, the bank teller, the plumber, the construction worker, the mom and pops, they're the ones that are displaced from their homes and priced out of their own cities. That's who doesn't like tourism and property investment tourism, which is the majority of the people. I know, we've said this before, but we'll say it again just because it is so fitting right now. Back in 2019, the Portuguese said, "Californians go home." They didn't say Americans go home. So what does that tell you? Let us tell you a secret that we've been told countless times by different locals. We like North Americans coming to our country, and we're proud that they like our country, but we don't like it when they don't mind the prices of everything. Food, rents, property prices, because it makes everything go up, and then we can't afford to live in our own country. Gentrification in Greece has become a significant issue, and I'm telling you, the Golden Visa is a part of that gentrification. So while your Retire Abroad media is telling North Americans about how cheap the housing is in Greece compared to North America, and telling people to run over there and invest in property, The housing market in Greece has already gone up dramatically in just the last decade because of the Golden Visa program, and housing prices keep rising. Take a look at this. From 2020 to 2025, there's been a 60% price increase in just 4 years. This is how the Rams make their big money. Do you see why this is a trick? This is a soft form of insider trading, but doing it with the housing market instead of stocks. It's how the real estate pump and dump schemes work, and rich North Americans and Brits are the targets.
What's the analogy between the penny stock pump and dumpers and live abroad pump and dumpers? You take something that was at a very low price, like a penny stock, and then you run all these promotions, all these articles, making it sound like, the great, wonderful things are happening and why people should buy it. Same thing with the buy real estate abroad marketers. Same principle. What happens then, of course, the prices of these penny stocks gets pushed up to levels that are unsustainable because the underlying companies are just not worth that. And the real estate is similar in these offshore places where the prices they get pumped, namely with relationships with different online marketing companies, and that way the insiders can sell into the bubble. The insiders sell into the bubble, and of course other speculators jump in, other YouTubers and pumpers and small-time speculators. But as to the intrinsic value, what you're doing is you're taking something that was at a local level, and you're pushing it way beyond the reach of the locals. And that's the analogy where it was a worthless stock that got pushed to an unsustainable price. These real estate prices are also unsustainable in the sense that once the foreigners step back, the locals have never really participated in a big way. There's always some locals participating. You can't say the locals don't participate. There's always some locals, people for one reason or another. Maybe they're business owners, maybe they've been in the States a long time and they've got property that they've sold or whatever. But they're a much smaller percentage of player. They can't on their own keep the market up. And neither can the company insiders keep the price up on the penny stock, worthless penny stock pump and dump. They can't keep the price up. They rely on the public to come in and push the price up, and the speculators. And it's the same thing with these offshore real estate markets, whether it's Cuenca, Ecuador, or Panama beaches, or it doesn't matter, Dominican Republic, Mexico, Medellin, Colombia, they're all the same. And so they're pushing the prices way above and beyond general local participation in the market. And so what we're seeing now is both Cuenca and Panama City have stalled for the last few years. But basically, you can't sell your real estate, and you see it if you've got an eye for this kind of stuff. If you've got your boots on the ground like we do, where we come to these places and we're not just laying on the beach all day where you don't see it, but in the background we're just pounding the pavement. How do you think we know all this stuff? We're pounding the pavement, making contacts, talking to bankers, real estate agents, property owners, everybody, taxi drivers. We're just pounding the pavement and talking to everybody. And we're seeing everything.
The 5 countries, Spain, Portugal, Italy, France, and now Greece, are the favorite little darlings of the retire abroad media and vlogger gang for years during the Golden Visa reign. But alas, in April of 2025, Spain dumped their Golden Visa scheme because it's been pumped to its limits. So the retire abroad media dumped Spain like a hot potato, and now it's at the bottom of the list of the top 10 countries at number 8. Only the 2 Asian countries remain under Spain, and they will stay there or move off the top 10 best chart next year or two. You just watch. Expats are leaving Thailand in droves for various reasons, but that's another video. Let's move on to Panama for a moment. Panama City, Panama, another favorite darling of the Rams for 20 years now, was bought out a long time ago. The property prices are in the clouds because the locals on the ground can't buy it. We've been told that to our faces when we were in Panama City, Panama. So I'm talking about the city of Panama City, not anywhere else in Panama. Property prices in Panama have increased by approximately 122% over the last decade. And according to a local Panamanian, guess who owns all the condo buildings you see in Panama City, Panama? The rich and famous.
Ecuador. No, pero bueno, pantalón corto. Pero son ecuatorianos. No. ¿De qué país? I speak English. You want to practice your Spanish? You don't like Spanish? What's the matter with you? Welcome to Panama. This is a UNESCO site. We were using the American dollars from the California gold rush. Oh, yeah. Stable economy, and you can drink the water from the taps.
And you can drink the water.
Rising buildings.
Oh, yeah.
That's Miami.
Expensive. Yeah, oh, it looks just like
152 banks. Oh, yeah. 60% of the stores are owned by Jews.
Looks just like Miami.
They're owned by Jews?
The condos. 60% of the condos are owned by Jews up stores here, and 40% of the condos are empty. Probably you will bargain because you live in Ecuador, but most Americans don't bargain prices because it's not a custom.
Yes, the real estate market priced out the working Panamanians years ago, displacing many of them from their apartments. And this happened back in the 2000s. They told us back then that they have to commute 1 to 2 hours outside of the city every day just to find a rental that they can afford. Frank and I actually did the commute, and the traffic was horrendous. It was the worst traffic we'd ever been in anywhere. We were stuck on the highway traveling from Panama City to Coronado, Panama on the coast, which is about an hour's drive. And we were stuck on the freeway for almost 4 hours. Just in case some people don't get it, this is just one aspect of what it's like for the locals when they're displaced from their cities they work in, when these places are highly promoted from the Rams for years, and of course, their own governments. Lastly, we want to talk a little bit about Costa Rica, which has been pushed up on the list as the 3rd best country to live in now. We just covered a horrific murder of an expat, minding their own business in some small seaside town, living out their retirement dream in Costa Rica. And just a few months before that, there were 3 other murders of expats in Costa Rica. Now, I don't know about you, but when a country that is obviously targeting tourists is getting put on the top 10 best country list, it really makes them look bad, and quite frankly, they are bad. That's all we're going to say about that. So while the European darlings, with the exception of Greece, has been pushed down into the bottom of the list, it means they've priced out most expats except for the investors. That's what that means. Do you see how these countries get used and abused and worn out and tattered and manipulated? So while the Rams are selling you how Greece is relatively inexpensive right now, believe us, it will get higher priced. It will become more crowded, more touristic, and more overrated, and they will soon have the same problem as Spain and Portugal with a housing crisis that they created. The Retire Abroad Cheap Living Scheme, no matter where you are at in it, is a trap. So be mindful of that when you retire or move abroad. Watch what happens to Greece and learn. Okay, so we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching our videos and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.